You open your eyes for the first time in a tiny wooden house. The walls creak when the wind howls, and the floor shivers under winter's breath. Your mother holds you close, but she's weak, her body drained by endless work and little food. You don't know this yet, but every baby born here rolls the dice. Half don't make it past their first year. There's no modern medicine, no doctor on standby, just herbs, prayers, and hope that fever doesn't claim you. Outside, rice paddies stretch under gray skies. If the harvest fails, your family starves. If it floods, the gods are angry. Your father prays to shrines of your health, but prayers can't stop coughing fits or infected cuts. In 1900 Japan, survival isn't promised. It's begged for. And as you drift asleep, wrapped in rags, you have no idea the worst is yet to come. You grow just enough to stand, but your belly stays empty. Every day, your mother counts handfuls of rice like gold coins. Sometimes there's barley to stretch the pot, but it tastes like dust when the harvest fails, and it often does. Hunger becomes another sibling. Sitting beside you in the cold, you watch adults fight over scraps, chewing salted fish bones until they splinter between their teeth. Villagers sell what little they own to pay rice taxes, yet they still bow low to landlords who never feel hunger's bite. You sneak handfuls of millet when no one's looking, but there's never enough. Your bones jut through your skin, ribs like a washboard. When famine sweeps through the countryside, children disappear overnight. One day you find your neighbor's door bolted shut. Inside, no one moves. In 1900 Japan, a full belly is a wish, and your wish never lasts long. You're barely old enough to hold a hoe when the empire decides you should hold a rifle instead. Japan is hungry for power, and power needs bodies. The emperor's portraits hang in your school, watching as you stand stiff in rows, reciting odes you don't understand. Teachers drill you in loyalty, duty, sacrifice. If you're a boy, you practice marching with bamboo sticks shaped like rifles. If you're a girl, your fingers toughen on sewing needles and factory machines. Outside, the nation stirs. War with Russia looms like a thundercloud. Men whisper about Port Arthur and Tsushima. You don't know where these places are, only that boys not much older than you vanish on trains bound for the front. Your father says you're lucky. The empire gives you purpose. But at night, you wonder what happens if you refuse that purpose. In 1900 Japan, the empire doesn't ask. It demands. You trade your wooden practice rifle for a cold steel the day you turn 15. The emperor needs soldiers, and you've grown just enough to bleed for him. The barracks swallow you whole, rows of boys shaved bald, uniforms stiff and scratchy, boots 2 sizes too big. Drill sergeants bark until your throat burns from shouting loyalty. You dream of warm rice, but wake to stale bread and gun oil. If you're a girl, you trade your childhood for factory floors, stitching uniforms and packing bullets that may find their way back to your own family. The war with Russia drags on. The names of boys you knew become names on slips of paper carried home by grim messengers. If you fall behind in drills, you're beaten. If you speak of fear, you're silenced. In 1900 Japan, your life belongs to the emperor, and the war machine never stops turning. You think the worst is behind you, but it's only shifting shape. The war ends, but sickness marches on. In 1918, whispers of foreign flu drift through the ports, carried by steamships and soldiers returning from distant fronts. One cough, one fever. Entire families vanish behind shuttered doors. You press a cloth over your mouth, but it's useless. Villages bury the dead in shallow pits when there's no one left to dig proper graves. If you survive the wave, you keep breathing factory smoke and dust. Tuberculosis crawls through narrow alleys, slipping into lungs already weakened by hunger. You see pale children spit blood into rags. You feel the rattle in your own chest when the nights turn cold. There are no wonder drugs, no hospitals with clean white beds, only weak herbal cures and silent prayers. In 1900 Japan, war can kill you, but disease finishes what war starts. You learn that the earth itself can turn on you. It happens on a late summer morning in 1923. The ground shudders, then splits. Homes crumble like paper lanterns crushed underfoot. You hear screams under timbers, smell dust and blood. But it's the fires that finish what the quake begins. Broken gas lines turn entire neighborhoods into blazing traps. Winds whip flames through wooden houses faster than people can run. You clutch your mother's sleeve as you stumble through ash-choked streets, hoping your father still breathes somewhere under the ruins. Rumors spread like sparks. Mobs hunt. Outsiders blame for fires. In the chaos, more lives are lost to fear than the falling bricks. You stand in the rubble barefoot and shaking, with nothing left but soot in your hair and smoke in your lungs. In 1900 Japan, even the ground beneath your feet can't be trusted to keep you alive. You rebuild what little you can. A new roof of patched wood. A pot borrowed from a neighbor. You're older now. Your back aches from hauling debris, your hands cracked and burned from clearing rubble. But before you can catch your breath, the empire's hunger returns, sharper than ever. The generals and ministers preach of destiny. Japan must grow, conquer, prove its might against the world. In your street, men in crisp uniforms hand out leaflets dripping with slogans about honor and sacrifice. Boys younger than you vanish into barracks overnight. Factories roar louder, spinning out rifles, shells, steel. If you're a son, you march again, boots pounding dirt roads toward China or Korea. If you're a daughter, you labor longer hours, sewing more uniforms, wrapping bandages for wounds that haven't happened yet. Some nights you hear your mother whisper prayers to God she no longer trusts. Because deep down she knows, when the empire calls, it never stops at one war. It always wants more sons, more sweat, more blood. You watch trains vanish into the horizon, carrying faces you may never see again. In 1900 Japan, you can't dream of peace. You only wait for the next uniform to fit your back. You're older now, but age offers no mercy. It's the 1940s, and the empire's reach is stretched across oceans, but so has its list of enemies. And when the enemies come, they come from above. Sirens wail in the dark. You clutch your children's hands, if you're lucky enough to have any left, and run for the tunnels, the bomb shelters dug into hillsides and basements. Wooden houses that survived earthquakes and storms vanish in minutes under sheets of fire. The air raids don't pick and choose, the old, the sick, the infant at your breast. Firebombs fall like burning rain. You hear your neighbors' cries through the roar, but you can't stop to help. One spark on a paper roof, and your street is gone. By dawn, the sun rises over a city of ashes. Bodies line rivers that once carried fishermen's boats. You emerge from your shelter coughing black smoke, your clothes singed, eyes burning, wondering which corner of your neighborhood still stands. You scrape at the dirt, looking for scraps of rice buried under rubble. But you know the next wave will come, tonight, tomorrow, next week. In 1900 Japan, the sky itself has become a predator, and it always finds you. You think you've seen the worst the sky can do. Then August arrives and shows you how wrong you are. If you're in Hiroshima, the morning feels like any other. The sun climbs. Children carry empty lunch boxes to school. Workers sweep doorways clean of last night's ashes. Then the world becomes light, brighter than the sun, hotter than any fire your mind can grasp. You don't see the bomb fall. You only feel your skin peel away as walls vanish and shadows burn into stone. If you survive the first breath of flash, you crawl through a city that no longer exists. Skin hangs in strips. Rivers choke with bodies trying to escape a heat they never outrun. If you're in Nagasaki, 3 days later, it happens again. 2 cities erased in a heartbeat. And if you're far away, you hear rumors carried on the wind of light that blinds, burns, ends everything in an instant. You look at the sky differently now, wondering if it will tear open again. You listen for sirens, but no alarm ever comes in time for something this bright. In 1900 Japan, you were born to fear hunger, war, and fire, but no one told you to fear the sun itself. You stand in the ruins, bones older than your years. The empire is broken, its flags torn down. The war is done, but hunger stays. Always hunger. Cities lie in ashes, rivers poisoned with memories no one speaks aloud. You watch your children pick through rubble for scraps of cloth, bent spoons, anything that can be traded for rice. You wonder if they will see something better, if the next birth in this land will mean something kinder. But deep down, you know survival has its own scars. You feel them in your chest when you cough, in your dreams when fire returns behind your eyelids. You are still here, but so is the fear. In 1900 Japan, being born meant fighting to live. And even when you win that fight, the nightmare never really ends. Because tomorrow always asks what you're willing to lose next. And if you think Japan was hard, wait until you hear what it meant to be born in Poland in 1900. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that story, and more brutal true histories just like this one. And tell us in the comments which history topics you want us to explore next.